the Kremlin today, responding to President Biden now calling what they're doing in Ukraine genocide, with Russia, unsurprisingly, saying it's not acceptable in their view for the president to use that term. And while Moscow may be slamming that assessment, an international team of investigators is on the ground in Ukraine, gathering evidence from the bodies of Ukrainians killed by Russian troops to try to figure out if crimes have been committed. So when exactly does violence in a war become genocide? What's the tipping point? We'll explain. But before we do, that warning that has become devastatingly common in this show lately. Some of the images you're about to see are disturbing. By now, you've seen the horrific pictures out of Ukraine. Bodies in the streets of Bucha, mass graves, and survivor stories of indiscriminate killing, torture, and rape by Russian soldiers.
The only thing they know is people dead, people with their hands tied, people tortured, murdered, and this just breaks my heart.
Now, President Biden calling what's happening in Ukraine genocide.
Yes, I called it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of even being able to be a Ukrainian. And the evidence is mounting.
It's the furthest he's gone so far in describing what Russia's doing, coming just days after he said Vladimir Putin should be tried for war crimes.
This guy is brutal.
Genocide is not just a word for mass killings. A United Nations treaty that the U.S. signed formally defines genocide as actions taken with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. The treaty came out of World War II and the Holocaust, when Nazi Germany systematically killed some 6 million Jews. Under that UN treaty, simply showing that Russian soldiers intentionally killed Ukrainians is not enough to declare genocide.
We found 650 dead bodies.
Instead, it would need to be proven in international court that the killings were an intentional effort to wipe out the Ukrainian people. Bottom line, President Biden may use the word now, but whether a genocide can be declared legally, that's still up in the air.
I think the president has consistently been ahead of the curve in calling out what's going on in all of its awful functionality. And I think the more he does that, the more the system will work to catch up with him.
The International Criminal Court has opened an investigation into war crimes in Ukraine, but barring some kind of revolution or coup in Russia, putting Vladimir Putin on trial is nearly impossible. That's because the court can't do anything without a referral from the UN Security Council, where Russia has a veto. The Biden administration can make its own formal determination of genocide outside of an international court's findings, as the U.S. has done 8 separate times, including last month when the Secretary of State declared Myanmar's military committed genocide against the Rohingya minority, something that, by the way, took the U.S. 6 years to determine.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.